By what name are you known?
There are some who call me... Tim?
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are once again in Amsterdam, the Netherlands for the Raging Bull series. And we have reached the finals, baby. I'm so excited for this. We've got Spanish player Luis Cortès, and he's playing his Rukh Valley deck. And he's taking on Hall of Famer from Sweden, Ölle Rǎde. So a very international finals here. Ölle Rǎde is playing his blue-red Atog deck. And I mean, both of these decks are very fierce. One is more aggro, one is more controlling, but both are very, very good and of course fully powered. Now, before I go to the deck section of this video, because I've got lovely deck photos of both of these decks, first I would like to tell you something about my Patreon page. Aye, me hearties. If you would like to support the show, you can become a patron at patreon.com/TimmyTalks. We have 3 different patron levels. You can join as an apprentice for just $1 a month. And this will give you access to the Timmy Talks Discord, and you can join in on all the Timmy Talks online tournaments, such as the Color Clash and the Reprint Masters. You can also become a supporter at the Sorcerer level for just $2 a month. When you are a Sorcerer, your name will be mentioned in the end scroll, and if you want, you can play a game against, well, me. But there is more. If you become a supporter at the Pirate level, we can even make an episode together. Aye! Haha! You can also choose to pay annually for a 10% discount. So what are you waiting for, me hearty? Visit patreon.com/TimmyTalks and join the Timmy Talks crew. Arrgh! And we are back, and I just wanted to add to that message about my Patreon that the patrons are really the bread and butter of Timmy Talk. So thank you to all the patrons out there. That's really what's making this channel, so thank you so much. I mean, sponsorships are great, but patrons are really the bread and butter of this channel. Okay, and now that I guess we are ready to continue, I'm going to discuss the deck of the player on the left. That's Luis. Let's take a look at his Rukh Valley deck. And here we see the deck of Luis. So we saw this deck in action in the semi-finals as well. If you haven't seen that match, I would recommend to first check that out before checking out the finals. But yeah, in his deck, of course, we see that combo Diamond Valley with Rukh Egg. So Rukh Egg, an 0/3 creature from Arabian Nights. And when it goes to the graveyard, you get a 4/4 flying bird token enter your end step. So then there's, of course, that combo with Diamond Valley. Diamond Valley, a land from Arabian Nights. You can tap it, sacrifice a creature, and then you gain life equal to the toughness. So in this case, you can sack your Rukh Egg, gain 3 life, and then get a 4/4 flyer as well in your end step, which is not, you know, a bad deal. What's, of course, really good about the Diamond Valley is that you can use it in response to any removal of your opponent. For example, your opponent wants to play a Swords on your Sarah Angel, you can just sack that to the Valley and gain 4 life. And life, of course, is going to give you time, and especially against aggro decks like Ölle, he really doesn't like life gain. So the life gain train could work. The problem, of course, with Diamond Valley is that it's going to cost you a land drop, so it slows you down. Also, it doesn't tap for mana, so it's really a problem. And of course, you gain life, but you've got to sack creatures. There are no steal effects in this deck, so you see a lot of players playing this with control magics and stuff, but that's not the case here. You know, in the deck of Luis. And then when we're looking at the rest of the deck, we see a pretty solid creature base, right? With the 4 Suchis, the 3 Sarah Angels, and the 4 Mishra's Factories. Suchi, of course, a very good creature in Swedish because there's no mana burn. So a 4/4 for 4, what's not to love? It is, of course, an artifact and a creature, so it's very vulnerable to all sorts of removal. And I think the Suchi is also the reason that you see a lot of Divine Offerings in the decks nowadays. I mean, that's 2 mana instant speed. It can kill the Suchi and give you 4 life. That's a pretty good deal as well. So, you know, cards, of course, follow each other up in the meta. And then, of course, we see the power. We see also 2 blue power cards. That's Ancestral Recall and Time Walk, the only blue cards in this deck. For a reason, of course, they're just insanely strong. Talking about insanely strong, we also see kind of the black power here in this deck. Mind Twist and Demonic Tutor. Those cards are just too good not to play. And because they're only 1 black in the casting cost, it's really easy to put them in. And I've had a lot of discussions about Mind Twist. People saying it's not a fun card. It is a fun card. It's a budget card if you don't have power. All those arguments have their own legitimacy. Is that a word? I think it is. The problem, of course, with Mind Twist is that when you play it with all this power, it becomes like, you know, super powerful. Anyway, looking at the rest of the deck, we see a sideboard that could be quite interesting. The red Elemental Blasts could come in here, and of course the Artifact Hate could come in here as well. And I think the Spirit Links are also contenders after the first game, because you want to gain life, right? Especially in this match, because the deck of Ölle Rǎde is just so aggressive. Talking about that, let's take a look at the deck of Ölle Rǎde. And here we see the deck of Ölle Rǎde. So this is red and blue. And normally when you say red-blue, you think about counter burn. But look at this. No counter spells. It's only burn, baby. And actually, not the max burn. He's playing 2 Psionic Blasts, 4 Chain Lightnings, 4 Lightning Bolts, which is a lot of burn. But I've seen decks like this playing with 4 Psionic Blasts and 4 Chain Lightnings and 4 Bolts. So I guess he shaved off 2 Psionic Blasts, maybe to make space for those 2 Shatters. And then when we're looking at the rest of the deck, let's start with the creature base, right? When we're looking at the creature base, we see the Atog, right? I've called it blue-red Atog for a reason, because he's playing with the full playset in this deck. Atog, a 1/2 creature for 1 red and 1, and you can sack an artifact to it to give it +2/+2. Now the Atog gets really good if you've got all the jewelry, and Ölle, of course, has all that jewelry, all that bling. We see all the Mox in here in the deck, also a Soul Ring and also a Black Lotus. All these cards become very good food for the Atog later in the game. And then he's also playing with 3 Surrender Befrieds, also a super aggressive creature. So, I mean, this is just a very aggressive deck, right? Ölle doesn't like long Magic games. He just wants to win and then get a beer. I get it. Ölle, I get it. You know, I like your style. We also see 4 Vices in this deck. I think Vice is really good for multiple reasons. First of all, if you have Vice turn 1, it's like a free Lightning Bolt, right? It's Lightning Bolt number 5. Second of all, he's playing with Atog, so you can always feed them to the Atog. Draw them late game, have no purpose. Yes, they do. They're a pump spell for your Atog. And the third reason why I think they're really good in this deck is the draw 7s, Wheel of Fortune, Time Twister. They're so good in this deck, especially in this deck, because you're going to empty your hand very quickly. You're going to attack your opponent. Almost everything in this deck hurts your opponent, right? So your opponent's going to be really low on life, and maybe you just need that Lightning Bolt. You just need that one card to cross the finish line, and the draw 7 will usually give it to you. And also, of course, like I said before, the draw 7 will activate your Vice, right? So Black Vice with draw 7s, that is a very scary thing. Then when we're looking at the rest of the deck, there are some interesting one-offs here. Relic Barrier, which I've seen in action for Ölle Rǎde. It's been an absolute MVP for him in some of the matches today. So it's a really good card too to cast for an artifact. Tap target artifact. Very simple, but very good, very clean. What I like about it is that you don't have to pay mana to activate it. So just pay 2 once and then you can always use it. It's really sweet. We also see a single Ankh of Mishra here. Ankh of Mishra artifact also for 2. Whenever you play a land, you take 2 damage. It works both ways. Another Ankh, by the way, in the sideboard. We also see an Armageddon. Armageddon, of course, a great card to kind of lock the deal. We see a second Armageddon in the sideboard. I wonder if he's going to board in the second Armageddon against Luis. Does seem sensible, although it's of course a bit of a slower card. And then we also see a single copy artifact. Of course, copy artifact in a meta full of artifacts is really good, and of course in his own deck it's really good, and in combination with Atog it's really good. I'm actually surprised there are not more copy artifacts in here, but I think that's what this deck is all about, right? I mean, Ölle has been playing this deck for a while, and I think tweaking is the magic word, right? They're tweaking, they're constantly trying to make the optimal decision for the meta that they're playing in. And I think Atog decks, blue-red Atog decks, are just very, very powerful and very, very scary. We also, by the way, see a little bit of a splash, right? I already mentioned the Armageddon. We also see a balance. We also see the black splash, of course, in the form of Demonic Tutor and Mind Twist. No big surprises there. But yeah, to be honest, for me, this deck of Ölle Rǎde is a favorite. Why? Because it's Ölle Rǎde, but also because it's just so aggressive. I think, you know, if Luis can find a way to start gaining some life, he really has a chance. But if not, we could be in for some really, really quick and powerful matches from this Atog deck. Anyway, I guess we're just going to have to watch the finals to find out. Talking about that, let's go to the finals of the Raging Bull Series 2025 between Luis Cortès and Ölle Rǎde. Here we go, people! Game number 1 here is about to begin. On the left, we have the Spanish player Luis Cortès, and I believe he just took a double mulligan here in his first game, taking on Ölle Rǎde from Sweden, the Hall of Famer. And I believe Ölle Rǎde took 1 mulligan, so 6 in hand for Ölle. And if Luis keeps this, then he has to put 2 cards on the bottom. That's exactly what he does here. So 5 cards for the Spanish player to start with. That is pretty tough. And Ölle starting with 6. There you go. Turn 1 Atog, City of Brass, and a Mox Pearl into an Atog here. The 1/2 creature from Antiquities that you can feed an artifact and then give it +2/+2. Let's see what Luis can do. Of course, he is on the draw, so that makes up for it a little bit. Mox Pearl for Luis as well. There's a Strip Mine. And there we see a Swords. Okay, so really taking care of that board of Ölle Rǎde. Losing the Atog here, and of course the City of Brass. Now the deck of Ölle doesn't need much mana. There we see a Volcanic Island. Look at this, yeah. Ancestral Recall, that's definitely going to help him. Picking up 3 fresh cards there from the top. including an Atog. There we see a Mox Emerald and a pass. Has an Atog in hand there. There we see a Mox Jet for Luis as well. Just passing though, not playing it out yet. I believe he also has a Suchi in hand. Let's see what Ölle can do. Gonna tap, untap again, okay. First gonna play a land, Mishra's Factory, and there we see the Atog. It's gonna tap 2 more. Okay, there's the Relic Barrier. Can use the Relic to tap down the Mox exactly during the upkeep of Luis Cortès. There we see a Plateau, so Plateau and Badlands for the Spaniard. Passing the turn here back to the Swede. Let's see what he can do. Probably going to put that Atog into the red zone. I wonder if he's also going to animate the factory. He is going to animate the factory, so both creatures into the red zone. Dealing some damage here. And Luis dropping to 17. There we see a Mox. So 3 Mox in here, and that's just a lot of food for that Atog. City of Brass as well being played out by Ölle. Yeah, and Luis is really in the corner, going to tap 4. There we see the Suchi, and this is again where I think the Relic Barrier is going to shine, right? Like I saw this before. The Relic Barrier is doing so much work for Ölle the entire day, and this final is no exception. He can use, of course, that Relic to tap down the Suchi and keep dealing damage. Or does he have other plans? Going to tap 3. Psionic Blast on the life total of Luis. I think if you're Luis, you gotta really worry here. Is this already game? Because he's got 4 artifacts that he can sack. There's a chain, gonna go to 10. I think this is game. Gonna tap down the Suchi. I mean, that Atog, you can make it huge. Exactly, gonna feed everything here to the Atog and attack. Wow, that's a huge Atog here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an 11-13 Atog here for the win. Ölle Rǎde winning game number 1 in what? 5 minutes? Less than 5 minutes? This is insane. So very quick win here in game 1. Remember, it's just game 1 though, so both players are going to dive into their sideboards. And we will catch back up with you in game number 2. Game number 2 here is about to begin, and Luis is on the play now after losing that first game. And I believe both players are keeping their 7 cards in hand, so no mulligans here. And I have to give you guys a warning. The imagery is quite shocky here in game 2. But I still want to show this to you. Of course, this is the finals. And the question is, will it be a 1-1? Are we going to continue with the game 3? Or will Ölle here take the victory? So we see a plateau for Luis and then a pass. Let's see what Ölle Rǎde can do in his first turn. Gonna drop a Mishra's Factory. Gonna play a Ruby, tap the Ruby. Okay, there we see a Black Vice. So that means 2 damage, I believe, for Luis. Unless he can play an instant here. Gonna take the 2 damage. Drop to 18. Finding a Sarah Angel there from the top. I believe another Sarah in hand as well. So it's a little bit too much here on the early stages of the game. There we see a Mox Pearl and a pass. And I believe I also see a Spirit Link there. So that's a card that came in from the sideboard. And I think Spirit Link can be really good, of course, against these burn decks. But you have to get far enough, though. I mean, remember game 1? That game went by so quickly that Luis never had a chance to do his thing. We see a City of Brass there in hand and another card. It looks like Ölle is a little bit in the tank. Could it be an artifact? I believe this card is a City of Brass. Exactly, so playing out the City of Brass, going to tap 2, or we're going to see Ankh. Oh, we're going to see Relic Barrier again. So remember, Ölle Rǎde only playing a single Relic Barrier in his deck, but he's really finding it here in game 1 and in game 2, tapping down the Mox Pearl in the upkeep of this Spanish player. And that's so annoying for Luis, of course, because it really slows you down. And his deck really needs mana, right? He's playing bigger creatures, Suchi, Sarah Angels, Rook Eggs. He needs the mana. Just passing the turn here, missing a land drop. This is pretty devastating for Luis. Ölle really in the driver's seat here. And I think Luis is kind of hoping for Ölle to animate the factory here so he can play out that lightning bolt, or perhaps he's got a disenchant in hand as well. If he has a disenchant, he could also consider, of course, taking care of the Vice or the Relic. But let's first see what Ölle is going to do. The first question is he going to attack with the factory? Playing out a second factory here, passes the turn, so decides not to attack. And now, of course, on end step, Luis can still play out the bolt or play out the disenchant. I guess you want to go for the disenchant. If it is a disenchant, I think it is, right? Kind of hard to see, but yeah, it's a disenchant here. We're going to tap 2, take care of the Vice. Look at this there in response. Again, an Ancestral Recall for Ölle Rǎde. Yeah, that is tough. That is so tough. Again, I get a deja vu to game 1, where Ölle Rǎde also had that Ancestral Recall. Tapping down the Pearl, of course, again in the upkeep of Luis. There's the pass, just finding another Lightning Bolt there. So 2 Lightning Bolts for Luis. But yeah, the problem here for Luis is the mana. Really needs to get more mana. Ooh, on end step, Lightning Bolt. That usually signals a draw 7 on the side of Ölle. If that's the case, we're going to find out. First, a Soul Ring found from the top. Going to play out the Soul Ring. Are we going to see a draw 7? Look at this, animating both factories. There's the attack. But remember, Luis has double bolt, I believe. There's the first. And there's the second. Ho ho! This is a great turn for Luis, taking care there of those Mishra's factories. And perhaps Ölle is thinking, you know what? I've got the Soul Ring, the Ruby. My deck doesn't need that much mana. I'm fine. That could be the case, of course. But good news for Luis, taking care of both of the factories. We also see a Chain Lightning still in hand for Ölle Rǎde. I wonder if he's going to play that out. Passes the turn, tapping down the Mox Pearl. There we see a Tundra. There's the pass. And those Serra Angels are really just waiting there until Luis can get the 5 mana. Look at this though, Armageddon. Oh, this is a big problem for Luis. What a play here by Ölle Rǎde. Plays 1 Armageddon main, another one in the side. I wonder if he boarded in the one from the side as well, then he would play with 2, which makes sense against Luis's deck, because his deck is quite slow. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of lagging going on with the video. But I'm going to try to talk you through this. There we see a Chaos Orb hitting the board. Yeah, Ölle Rǎde really in the driver's seat's looking so bad for Luis here. There we see a plateau. There's the pass, of course, going to tap down the Mox Pearl again. Demonic Tutor found there. Yeah, Luis is in no man's land. He's in a really bad position. Even if he finds a land, Ölle will probably flip on it. And Ölle is just kind of building on his mana base here. Yeah, there we see a City of Brass. I wonder, no, we're not seeing an end of turn Chaos Orb activation. I was kind of expecting that, to keep attacking that mana base. Ölle decides not to. Okay, now he decides to, okay. It's gonna go, oh, that's a bad flip. I'm not used to that from Ölle Rǎde. A bad flip here. I'm happy actually, because it means that Luis at least has that land to work with. He's already in a bad position. There we see a Time Walk. I mean, I'm always hoping for a tight, close finals, right? But we're not really seeing that so far. Ölle has full control. Attacking here with the 2/2 Mishra's Factory. Are we going to see a Swords to Plowshares or a Lightning Bolt? Swords to Plowshares there in hand. Yep, there's the swords. Taking care of the Mishra's Factory. There we see a Chain Lightning. So he's going to drop to 10. And, oh, there's a Wheel of Fortune. I love this Wheel of Fortune. That is sweet. And hopefully this will get Luis kind of back into the game as well. Now remember, Ölle Rǎde still has a land open. So if he can find, for example, a Vice, that would be great for him. We'll just have to wait and see. Looking at the hand here, still has that untapped plateau to work with. It's going to play a Mox Jet. Okay, so Mox Jet plateau. There we see a Taiga. Okay, there we see a Shatter. There's the Vice. Oh, man, this is going to be tough. Passes the turn. Luis taking 3 damage here. Going to go to 7. Oh, It's looking so bad for the Spanish player here. Does have a Soul Ring in hand. Maybe he could go land, Soul Ring. Also has a Disenchant in hand. Let's hope that at least he's got a land. Okay, he's got a Mishra's Factory there. He's going to play out the factory. Go, Luis, you can do it. There's a Soul Ring. I mean, he's on 7 as well. He's so low. So I believe he's played out 2 cards, right? He started with 8, so he's got 6 cards left in hand. This is so tough. This is so tough. It's going to pass the turn here to Ölle, I guess. Yeah, and Ölle there, end step, going to tap down the Soul Ring of Luis. Oh man, this is so bad for the Spanish player. Ölle Rǎde so close to winning here the Raging Bull Series 2025. So close to the victory. There's a Demonic Tutor. Oh, that's only going to make things worse. Can he already finish it? That's kind of the question here. I wonder if he can. I mean, yeah, could go for another draw 7 just to activate the Vice again, but why would you? Well, I guess you could, and then betting on just drawing a lot of burn as well and then finishing the game. Remember, Luis is on 7, so if you've got an active Vice, you take damage from that, will put you on 4. Then if you get a Psionic Blast from the draw 7, doesn't have enough mana for that, though, to do that. Unless he can find a Mox as well from the draw 7. Anyway, I'm just speculating, of course. We'll see what Luis is going to do. Looks like he's also considering... Sorry, what Ölle is going to do, of course. Looks like he's also considering an Armageddon here. He could Armageddon. Then he would probably win on Vice eventually. Ooh, the images are so glitchy. We can't really see what decision he's going to make. Armageddon there, right? And a Time Twister. Those are the 2 cards. And we see an Atog. Atog is good too. It's got a lot of artifacts. Yeah, it's going to go for the Armageddon. Yeah. Probably a good decision here. Also because he's got Relic Barrier to tap down the Soul Ring. And he's got, of course, 2 Moxen himself. Oh, and also there's a Bolt to make matters even worse. Wow. Luis. Of course, Ölle Rǎde does have to put his own lands in the graveyard too. Or else it will be a little bit too insane. So forgetting here to put his lands in the graveyard, I'm sure he remembers. There he goes. And Luis, of course, trying to dump his hand. He's on 2 measly life. Oh, this is such a big problem. There's the pass, untap, upkeep. Is he still alive? He's on 1. Okay, he's still alive. Go, Luis. Rukh Egg from the top. That's disastrous. Another Badlands needs a white source for those disenchants. Can't find it, though. Is this the end of the road for the Spaniard? Passes the turn. Oh, Luis is in so much trouble. He is on 1 life. He's 1 game down. Ölle passing and Ölle winning it here. Winning the Raging Bull Series 2025. And he's winning it very, very convincingly. And I have to say, one of the things I've noticed, maybe you've noticed it as well at this match report, we almost only had 2-0 matches. Now, there were a lot of close matches in this tournament, but it's kind of Murphy's Law, right? The decks you invite to go on the stream, they were all kind of like one-sided. Well, not always one-sided, but most of them ended up in a 2-0. And we also see that here in the finals. And I think, Ölle Rǎde, you are the deserved winner. So, Ölle Rǎde, an applause for you, sir. And of course, before we go, I cannot end this video series, this match report series, without thanking Richard Veenman. Thank you so much, my man. You're the organizer of the Raging Bull series. And for me, it's always one of the highlights, the magic highlights of the year to have such an epic tournament just right next door. So I love it. I absolutely love it. If you want, you can actually follow him on Instagram under MTG_NL, I believe. But I'll put the link here on the screen as well. So give him a follow. He makes some pretty sweet posts. And of course, if you want to see more information about this tournament, like all the deck photos, you actually can on RagingBullSeries.com. I'll put a link in the description below. So if you want to see all the decks of this tournament and all the results, you can find that in the link below. And talking about that, maybe you now want to see more Raging Bull Series actions. I've got playlists of all the previous years as well, so I'll add them to that same description, so you can find everything down there. So if you want to check out more old school, you absolutely can. So there's enough to look at still. Talking about all that stuff, if you like what you see, if you enjoy the channel, please take a moment to like, share, and comment. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. Talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. She rises early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Early in the morning. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put him in the scoundrel. 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 Early in the morning, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises early in the morning.
Oh, you're still here. Well, in that case, congratulations, because you've made it to the bonus footage. And for the bonus footage, we're just going to go in a time machine. We're going to travel back a little bit in time to a match that happened about an hour prior to the finals, because this is the semifinals that Ölle Rǎde played in, and he's also playing against a Spanish opponent. And the Spanish opponent here is Jordi, and Jordi is better known as Purple, and he is playing a robots deck. So here you can see his deck. So pretty standard robots build, right? You want to get your Suchis out, start copying them like crazy. And of course, you've got all those good control cards from white. And then there are also two Abysses here in the main 60. And I think those Abysses could be quite good against the Atogs of Ölle Rǎde. And yeah, let's see what's going to happen here. We see Jordi taking a mulligan. And I mean, of course, we know that Ölle, is going to win this, obviously, because he made it into the finals and won the finals. But it's still nice, This was quite an interesting match. And we see here Purple so taking a mulligan. That dice, I guess, indicates that it's his first mulligan. And I believe that Ölle is keeping the first 7. And that's, of course, good news here for Ölle. And I have to say, his deck makes such an impression, It's so good. And also the way Ölle plays it. Quick matches. Always sees when he has to go for it, when not. Like, the decision-making of a player of that level is just very interesting for me to look at. And here we go. So Jordi picking up his new hand. If he wants to keep it, he has to put 1 card on the bottom. We're playing according to the London Mulligan rules. So every time you take a mulligan, then you have to put 1 card on the bottom. If it's your second mulligan, 2 cards, and so on. Let's hope he can keep it. Yeah, he is going to keep. He is on the draw, so that's something Ölle Rǎde here on the play. Starting off with a Sapphire, Badlands, Black Vice. Okay. So that's a little bit of silver lining here for Jordi, taking a damage less because of the mulligan. So dropping to 18. Let's see what he can do. I believe I see a Mox Jet there on the right. So he can start emptying his hand. At the moment, 7 cards in hand. Seems to be a little bit in the tank, considering some options. I wonder what he's thinking about, because my gut instinct would be to just empty the hand as quickly as you can. Oh, now I get it. Library of Alexandria. Yeah, that makes sense. So he had to think what he wants to do. I mean, this is a risky decision, by Jordi going for this Loa plan, because it means you're going to take a lot more damage from the Vice. Of course, he is playing with disenchants, right? So if you can find a disenchant and a white mana, you can just disenchant the Vice, and he's in a really good position. First going to draw an extra card. So 8 cards in hand here. He's already on 13, by the way, because Ölle fired off that lightning bolt earlier. So that's pretty tough. Here we see the Mox Jet, so 7. There's the strip. Going to tap for 1 red floating. Does he want to play out that other bolt or not? Looks like he's not sure. So he's going to float the red. I assume so, because he could float a black too, but I think it's going to be a red. Oh, he's got a shatter there. So maybe thinking about the shatter. Yeah, shattering the jet really wants to slow Jordi down. No lands though for Ölle. This is good news for Jordi. But again, Jordi in this awkward position of, do you want to stay on Loa, get damage from the Vice, or get off of Loa? If you stay on Loa, you've got a bigger chance of finding your disenchant, but you're going to take a lot of damage. And if you don't find your disenchant, it could be too late. Or should you just go off of Loa? I mean, those are the questions here for Jordi. There's an underground C. There's the pass. There's a shatter for Ölle. Still not finding anything, but the Vice is doing all the work. Like, he's fine. Look at that again. I think 2 damage, right? Exactly. Drop it to 9. I mean, this is great for Ölle Rǎde. Even with just 1 Mox, he's still winning. Amazing. So Jordi asking about cards in hand. We do see a copy artifact there. Could consider copying the Sapphire. I think I would try to just get off of Loa here, you know. And try to start emptying my hand. Because you're already on 9 and you're playing against a deck with 4 chains, 4 bolts, 2 psionic blasts. It's a bad position to be in. I mean, it feels awkward, right, that you want to get off of Loa. Normally you want to stay on Loa, but I think this is a nice example of a card that works really well against Library of Alexandria. One of the things you hear often is, in a format like Swedish with 1 strip mine, Library of Alexandria is too strong. Of course, it's a super strong card, but there are cards that work against it, and I think this Vice is really showing that here in this matchup. And you can see Jordi really kind of being stuck here. It's really a catch-22 situation for him. Do you want to go off the Loa and you're going to draw less cards? Or do you want to stay on the Loa with the risk of eventually killing yourself because of that Vice? There we see the volcanic island, and there's the copy. I think this is a good decision. I honestly think this is a good decision. Just try to get a Suchi out as quickly as you can. And I mean, Ölle doesn't have any lands, right? He only has that Mox Sapphire, so just go for it. Copying the Sapphire here, by the way, was also thinking about copying the Black Vice. Taking 1 damage now, so 6 cards in hand after the draw. Untap, upkeep, and draw 6 cards here for the Spanish player. Oh, and the City of Brasses also looks so bad right now when you're quite low already. Okay, there we see a scrub land, I believe. So that taps for white and black. Okay, there's an Icy Manipulator. This is quite nice because he can tap down the Sapphire. It's looking good here for Jordi. He's getting back in it, and I believe he's not going to take any damage next turn. Oh, there's a Library of Alexandria here for Ölle. And how many cards does Ölle have in hand? 6, I believe. Oh. Olle's really lucky finding that Library of Alexandria there. I mean, this is just such a weird game, right? I mean, Ölle basically winning it on a single Vice. But Jordi's still alive here. Does he have, is that a disenchant? I think I would consider disenchanting the Sapphire and then keep tapping down the Loa. Maybe. Or does he have something better to do? Going to tap 4. Okay, he's going to play the Suchi and he's going to keep counter magic up, I think, because there's a counter spell in hand there. So going to keep counter magic up, and now he's got some pressure. Okay, he does want to tap something down. He's going to tap down the Loa. It makes sense because he's now going to draw his card number 7. There's the Psionic Blast. There's the pass. Okay, so this is going really well here for the Spanish player. There's the first attack here on the life total of Ölle. Ölle dropping to 16. Can he win it here? The Spanish player being on 8, playing that disenchant on the Sapphire, passing turn. Gonna tap the Loa for an extra card, so 8 in hand. Sorry, 9 in hand, of course. There we see the Volcanic Island. Has to discard or fire off that lightning bolt. He's going to fire off the lightning bolt. Going to put him on 5. He could, of course, counter this here. Has a counter spell in hand. He is going to counter it. So he's not going to take any damage. Going to stay here on 8. And of course, Jordi can start using that Icy Manipulator again next turn to tap down the Volcanic Island, for example. The problem, though, is I believe Ölle has a Shatter in hand. Anyway, let's first see what he's going to do. There's a recall. Is he going to recall the counterspell? Ooh, the strip mine. Yeah, of course, the strip. That makes more sense. Showing why I'm such a mediocre player. That's a good play here. You're already going for strip mine, stripping the Loa. And now, of course, you want to tap down the volcanic. There's another bolt, though. It's going to drop to 5. There's a ruby found from the top. That's pretty good, actually. You can go ruby. Now you can play shatter. If he's got a shatter in hand, I believe so, but maybe I'm mistaken. Ooh, also, is that a relic barrier again? It's crazy how often Rǎde finds that single relic barrier in the deck. Yeah, there it is again. Relic barrier, baby. Okay, there we do see a mana drain. That's mean another damage, of course, from his own City of Brass. So he drops to 4. Has 2 mana now from the mana drain. Gonna tap the sea. And okay, there we see an Abyss. Not gonna do that much. There's the attack. And then he's gonna pass a turn. Psionic Blast. Yeah, he's gonna win it here. Yeah. What a weird game 1, by the way. What a weird, right? It was a weird game, or is it me? I mean, that single Vice did so much work, and Rǎde just only had a Mox Sapphire for the longest time in that game, and still he won it. I mean, it's pretty incredible, and it's actually, I understand the choices that Jordi makes. It's always easy when you look back at this and you can say, yeah, you shouldn't stay on the Loa plan. But remember, he is playing Disenchants. So his idea was probably like, I'm going to take a little bit of damage here, but it's going to help me try to find the Disenchant. I'll disenchant the Vice, and then I'm in a really good position. And I mean, there was something to say for that, but at a certain point, you're just too low, and you could see here Rǎde, finishing it here with his direct damage. It's so hard to beat this player, Anyway, both players are going to dive into their sideboards, and we will catch back up with them in game number 2. Okay, game number 2. So Jordi on the play. Let's see what he can do. Has a Mox Ruby there, it seems. And the rest of the cards I can't really identify. It looks like both players are keeping their 7. See a Mox Pearl there at the top in the hand of Ölle. Jordi isn't a tank, though. Again, thinking, starting off with the Library of Alexandria. So again, finding that. I mean, normally that's really good. Are we going to see a Vice now? That's a big question. Double Vice. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. Double Vice? Are you kidding me? I mean, Jordi really doesn't have the luck here. Double Vice. That's like the worst scenario possible. And now, of course, Jordi has to empty his hand ASAP. Taking 4 damage here, by the way. Dropping to 16. At least having that Mox to play out as well. Perhaps next turn when he's got 4 mana, he can start deploying Suchis. But wow, what an answer to that Library of Alexandria. Normally you're super happy with the Loa in your hand, but I mean against Rǎde you're not. Okay, here we see a red Elemental Blast taking care of the copy artifact. That's actually great for Jordi because it also means he doesn't have to take any damage. There we see a Mox Sapphire. Oh boy, man. That start by Rǎde. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's got a lot of answers, it seems, now in the hand, by the way. He's got, I think, 2 red Elemental Blasts for Ölle there, a Chain Lightning, and 2 other cards I cannot identify at the moment. He's just passing turn here, so no lands for him. And Atog is one of them now. I see there we see a Mishra's Workshop for Jordi. And also Jordi just passing turn here. So not finding a Triskelion or a Suchi. Those are really the creatures he needs to start putting some pressure on the life total of Ölle. There we see a Lightning Bolt fired off on end step. Jordi dropping to 13. I mean, that's the thing against this deck by Rǎde. You're like down to almost 10 life in no time at all, right? I mean, Jordi's already on 13. Just because of the double Vice and the single Lightning Bolt. Here we see a Mishra's Factory. And it looks like Jordi also has a mana drain in hand, which can be quite handy. There's the pass. So you see Ölle not even deploying the Atog, so really keeping that in hand. Has a Shatter now also. There we see Tundra. And no Black Source, by the way, for Jordi. Because I was thinking, if you're Ölle, what's the reason to keep an Atog in hand in this case, not playing it out? Perhaps you want to keep your red Elemental Blast open. That could be a good reason. But I'm always worried about a Mind Twist, but maybe it's only one card in a deck, of course, and Jordi in this case doesn't have a black source. Here we see a City of Brass here by Ölle, so now he can play out the Atog and keep mana open for the red Elemental Blast. Going to take a damage here, and that's exactly what he does, right? So he's going to play out the Atog, because now he's got the red mana for the red Elemental Blasts if he needs it. So Atog hitting the board, of course, quite useful with those two Vices there. And the Vice is not really that helpful. Ooh, we see a mana drain here on the Atog. So there's a mana drain, but there's a red Elemental Blast, though, protecting the Atog. So here you can see, I mean, this is a really good decision by Ölle, right? To earlier not play out the Atog because you want to have that red Elemental Blast protection. Now he's able to make the Atog stick. I mean, it's not safe, of course, because Jordi is also playing with Swords to Plowshares. But, you know, if he doesn't have it, then he can have an attack. Let's first see what Jordi can do. 4 cards in hand for the Spanish player. Also has, of course, a Mishra's Factory as well as a potential blocker. And remember, Mishra's Factory can pump itself, so it's a 3/3 blocker. That would force Ölle at least to sack an artifact. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we're looking at Jordi's turn. What is he going to do? Ooh, there's a balance. Okay. Playing out of balance to take care of the Atog. I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands. Ölle only has 3 lands. So he's going to lose some lands here. And I believe Jordi also has more cards in hand or not. Or both players have 3 cards in hand. So this is going to cost him some lands. I believe he has to put 1 more land away. Or am I missing something? 3 lands there on the side of Ölle. I believe 4 lands on the side of Jordi. Perhaps he's still trying to make a decision. That's a tough thing with balance, you know. Yes, you get rid of a single Atog, but exactly losing the factory here, I'm not sure if I would have made this decision. Then again, I'm not in, in the semifinals, so it's probably a reason for that. So there we see a Suchi, by the way, as a follow-up here. Shatter in hand there for Ölle Rǎde, so could decide to shatter and then, for example, swing in with his factory. Going to take a damage, drop to 14. There we see the shatter. Take care of the Suchi. And there's the attack for 2. Are we going to see a disenchant or bolt? Nope. So Jordi dropping here to 11. And he's going to keep City of Brass untapped here, making sure he can still play out the red Elemental Blast. The other card in hand is a Chain Lightning for Ölle. Look at this. Jordi just passing the turn. Not finding anything useful. There's another attack. There's a disenchant this time. Nice answer. And Ölle Rǎde tapping. Oh, an Ancestral Recall at a perfect time because, there's really not much in his hand there. Again, the Relic Barrier. It's not going to be as good here, but still, again, the Relic Barrier. It's crazy how often we see that single card here in Ölle's deck. And I believe Ölle didn't have a land drop yet, exactly. So there we see the Mishra's Factory tapping to Relic Barrier's back, baby. Oh, untap upkeep, gonna tap down the Sapphire. Oh man, it's so funny to see that single Relic Barrier doing so much work for Ölle in almost every match that I've commentated here in this tournament where he's playing in. Pretty crazy. And the Jordi here going through his graveyard, so probably has a recall in hand. Of course, Ölle could decide to counter the recall with the red Elemental Blast, but Jordi doesn't know that, obviously. So, going to go through the graveyard, passes the turn, decides not to play out anything. No recall there. Ooh, is that another Relic Barrier? Did he put a Relic Barrier in from the side? There's the attack for 2. Going to put Jordi on 9. I mean, that factory is doing work. It's a new factory, actually, so it's the second factory doing work. Yet another Relic Barrier, so put the Relic Barrier in from the sideboard. That makes sense, of course, when you're playing against robots. Tapping down the Moxen here of Jordi. Going to tap 3. Okay, there we see a Chaos Orb. And he's going to flip the Orb. Going to flip it on the Manland. And it's a hit. Very clean flip, Jordi. Well done. I mean, this is the semifinals, but he's like, whoop. He doesn't care. No pressure for him. That's impressive. I would be shaking. I'm going to be honest. I would be shaking. I've done a few flips in top 8s, and I've missed quite a few as well, to be honest. Here we see a Chain Lightning. Jordi dropping here to 6. Right? Exactly. There we see another Vice. I mean, the thing that Ölle just needs here is a single Atog. That would be disastrous for the Spanish player. Okay, fine. Is that a Mind Twist? It's a black card, I believe. Doesn't have any black mana, though, to cast it. So even if it's a Mind Twist, cannot play it out. Of course, the other black card in his deck is a Demonic Tutor, also playing with the Abyss. And he's going to go back into his graveyard. So he's probably going to try to play out the Recall here. Can he, though? Does he have a land in hand as well? I don't think so. Oh, it's not a black card. It's a Mox Emerald. I thought it was a black card. So it's a Mox Emerald. Yep, there's the Recall. Okay, so he's going to play out the Recall. Yeah, needed that extra mana source to play out the Recall. Here we see Ölle going through the graveyard, deciding if he wants to counter this Recall or not. I mean, the question is, what is he going to pick up? I think it's worth to counter here. Exactly, going to play the red Elemental Blast. Ölle going to drop here to 9, I believe. Or did he take the damage already? I think he should still take the damage. Going to pick up a card from the top. Or perhaps he was on 11, went to 10, and I didn't see that one. Anyway, Ölle on 10, the way it is, and Jordi here on 6. It's going to tap down the same 2 Moxen. I mean, at this point, the Relic Barriers don't do that much. They're just a nuisance, I guess, for Jordi. But as soon as Jordi finds, like, remember, all his creatures are artifacts, right? So that's going to be, those Relic Barriers are going to be super annoying. And the thing is, the more time you give Ölle, the bigger the chances that he's going to find more burn and burn you out. You know, that's a problem. There's not really life gain in the deck of Jordi. There's the pass, I believe, a Black Lotus found from the top. There's a Volcanic Island for Jordi. Does he have a copy artifact there in hand? I mean, what would you copy? Oh, Brain Geyser. That's actually really good. Brain Geyser can only play it for 2, though. Again, Relic Barriers do matter, or else he could have Brain Geysered for 4. That's a big difference. But still, Brain Geyser for 2. You know, it's not that bad. And we see a counterspell now in hand here for Jordi. Tapping the Volcanic. There's a Lightning Bolt. Oh, you're on 3. Oh, that's really not where you want to be against the burn deck. Oh. Jordi in a very bad position. I mean, we know, of course, that Ölle is going to win. But is he going to win 2-0 again? Or not? We do see a COP red there, I believe. So City of Brass. I mean, you could use it if you're on 3 or 2. Doesn't matter that much, I think. Yeah, looking at the hand, I mean, he's got that... Is that Circle Protection red, right? That he's got in hand. I would definitely play it out. Yeah, there's a COP red coming in from the sideboard, obviously. So this should be really good here for Jordi. There's a draw. Oh, Psionic Blast. Are you kidding me? There's the pass, though. So we see Ölle being very patient. He's like, you know, I don't want this card to run into a counterspell. There we see another City of Brass. Oh, man, this second match. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I mean, Jose is in a good position. As long as he keeps his counter magic up and he keeps his mana up. Ooh, he is going to tap City of Brass. Doesn't mean he has a black card in hand. Yeah. Demonic Tutor. I mean, it's actually kind of comparable to what we saw in Game 1, right? You're already getting quite low, then stabilizing. And now in Game 2, we see a similar thing happen. Ölle here checking his own graveyard to decide if he wants to do something. Perhaps thinking about casting the Psionic Blast here, or pretending to have options. Probably the latter, because he's got a Black Lotus and Psionic Blast in hand, and I don't think he wants to cast a Psionic Blast here. Or he's thinking maybe he's going to Demonic for a counterspell and I shoot Psionic Blast now. Yeah, that's what he's thinking, I guess. Trying to get in the head of Ölle, which is quite hard, of course, of such a good player. There we see Psionic Blast. Now we're going to see a counterspell, though. There's the counterspell. Yeah, and I do understand the reasoning, if that's Olle's reasoning, that he thinks, you know, maybe he's going to pick up another counterspell with Demonic as well. So I might as well try to, you know, play out the Psionic Blast now, because maybe he doesn't have the counterspell yet. And I mean, if Ölle Rǎde now picks up a Psionic Blast, by the way, from the top, he still wins it, which is pretty insane. And this is tough for purple, you know, because what are you going to do, really? Like, are you going to pick up another counterspell so you're protected? But that's very passive and you're on 2. Or are you going to pick up a more offensive card, right? Or are you going to pick up Ancestral Recall to just draw 3 cards and hope they're good? Super risky. Also, yeah, we'll have to use your City of Brass. You get down to 1. I do think if you're on 3, 2, or 1, it doesn't really matter in this matchup. But yeah, this is a tough situation for for Jordi to be in. Yeah, you can see him think here, like, oh, what to do? I mean, in a way, this was a really good turn, right, for Jordi, because he was able to end cast his Demonic and counter away one of the 2 threats that can directly kill him. And then I'm talking about the Psionic Blasts, of course, because there are only 2 Psionic Blasts in the deck of Ölle. But yeah, this is a moment. Remember, this is, of course, the semifinals. The winner will advance to the finals. We already know that's Ölle. But of course, Jordi doesn't know it yet here at this stage in the game. Yeah, looking there at his library still. He's thinking about Red Elemental Blast. That makes sense, actually. Because Red Elemental Blast can take care of Psionic Blast, and it can take care of a Surrender Prophet, and you only need 1 mana for that. So I'm liking this decision here by purple, and you can still play it out with that 1 City of Brass. So you're kind of safe. So 2 cards in hand here for the Spaniard. One of those cards is a Red Elemental Blast that he just looked up with the Demonic Tutor. Passing the turn back here to Ölle Rǎde. Finding a Mox Jet there. So he's got a Black Lotus and a Mox Jet in hand, which is not really going to help him. Let's see what Jordi can find from the top. Couldn't see it. It's going to tap 4, so I guess it's going to be some kind of artifact creature. Suchi here hitting the board. Beautiful signed Suchi as well. Art by Christopher Rush. So Suchi 4/4, creature from Antiquities. And it's not going to be that influential because, of course, Ölle Rǎde has those relic barriers. Finding an underground sea here. Ölle Rǎde not really finding the cards he needs. Passes the turn. And he decides not to tap any of the Moxen here. I mean, so many mana sources now. I think the relic barriers, you know, had their value earlier with tapping down those Moxen when you already cast that Brain Geyser only for 2 because the Moxen were tapped. And now, of course, they're still good because you can tap the Suchi. There's a copy artifact on the other Suchi. But yeah, Jordi needs to get rid of those relic barriers. So 2 cards in hand, right? One of those cards is a Red Elemental Blast. It looks like he's going to play the other card now. Another copy artifact. Ooh, look at this. 3 Suchis. Wow. So he can start dealing some damage next turn. Mind Twist in hand there. I mean, he can now Mind Twist, right? Mind Twist for 2. Get rid of the Red Elemental Blast. That's at least something. Pretty sure that's what he's going to do. Perhaps drop the Mox Jet, Mind Twist for 2, or keep the Jet in hand, tap your Underground Sea for the black source. It's actually not looking good for Ölle here. Because next turn, Jordi can attack and at least get 1 Suchi into the red zone, deal 4 points of damage. Ölle would drop to 6, so he's on a 3-turn clock, so still has 3 turns to find that other Psionic Blast, I guess. Or is there another ticket for him? Ooh, not playing out. That's a Mind Twist night, right? Not playing out the Mind Twist, though. Gonna pass turn. Probably wants to wait until he has a Psionic Blast so he can Mind Twist and then Psionic Blast. Tap down 2 of the Suchis, take 4, drop to 6. And what I can see when looking at how Ölle plays is he's often plays in combination of cards. So he's waiting to play out a card because he wants to find another card to play it with. Okay, now we do see the Mind Twist. So it's so interesting, right? Decides not to play it out earlier, but decides to play it out now. There we see a Mishra's Factory. Okay, that could buy him at least a turn. Ölle now on 6. There's the pass. Untap, upkeep. And again, tapping both of them down. I mean, if he attacks, he's dead to the factory, so he cannot attack. But if he doesn't attack... Oh, wait a minute. This took a... I want to apologize to everybody. It's been a long day. This took really a moment for me to see this. But of course, he's in a catch-22. If Jordi attacks with the Suchi, he's going to put Ölle on 2, but then he dies to the factory on the side of Ölle. If he doesn't attack with the Suchi... Ölle is going to tap down the Suchi with the Relic Barrier and then attack with the Mishra's Factory. So Jordi is kind of dead here, I think. Unless, of course, he's got like a Disenchant in hand. Or a Swords. At least an answer to that Mishra's Factory of Ölle Rǎde. So Jordi really taking his time, which is understandable. Realizing that he's probably going to die next turn. I mean, this is tough. This is tough for Jordi. Again, I mean, he's stabilized just like in game 1, but it's just too little too late. I mean, if he would just have a little bit of life gain in the deck. Oh, there's a copy artifact. Well, no, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. Untap, upkeep, tap down the Suchis. Winning it here. Ölle Rǎde winning on Relic Barrier. Relic Barrier, people. Start buying up all the Relic Barriers. These cards are insane. I mean, I've never seen Relic Barrier being this good. I know it's good, but this good? Maybe it's got something to do with Ölle Rǎde. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And I promise after this, there's not more bonus footage coming. This is it. Thank you for watching. I love the Raging Bull series. And yeah, see you next time here on Timmy Talks.
Igitus figitus sumba kazik.